I would not say that Petra and I are experts on sober relationships.
No.
However, we do have access to a YouTube channel, which is just as good. At the end of the day, there are no hard and fast rules when it comes to love or sobriety or relationships or the human condition for that matter. But we are here to talk about what has helped us throughout our relationship, and hopefully it will be of use to you.
So, if you're wondering how to get through your first sober relationship, whether you're the one in sobriety or your partner is the one in sobriety, this video is for you.
Hello everyone, I'm Allie K. Campbell.
I'm Petra.
It sounds weird that you don't say your full thing.
I don't want them to know my last name.
She don't trust y'all. This is my YouTube channel, which is dedicated to getting real, having fun, and living sober. If you'd like to receive more sobriety-related content about like navigating the sometimes weird and awkward world of dating while sober and recovery, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. For context, Petra is not sober, but is also not an abuser of substances. And I've been in sobriety for over 3 years. And I definitely really loved my substances to the point of abuse. Which is weird that it's called abuse, because it's like you love something so much that you abuse it.
Oh my god, it's like baby animals, but they're so cute you want to like crush them.
Until they're, yeah. Yeah, we shouldn't do that. Not to our cats.
No. So we have been together for almost a year, and I think personally we are killing the game.
Yes, we are. We're definitely killing the game. In this video, we're gonna give you a few tips and tricks about navigating your first sober relationship. But before we do that, I wanna thank all of my patrons in the higher power tier. You guys make these videos possible, and I very much appreciate your support. The fact that you believe in me enough to financially back me as much as you can so that I can continue to create content for sober people. Thank you, Anna. If you're interested in pledging one of us on Patreon, you can go ahead and click the link in the video description below, and I will forever love you. Number 1.
Make sure your shit is in check before you get into a relationship with someone sober or not sober if you're on the other end.
So yeah, like this goes for both people, because recovering addicts and alcoholics or substance abusers aren't the only ones with issues. Go away! We're filming something.
No, absolutely. This goes for everyone.
It just shouldn't be on the responsibility or all on the person who's navigating sobriety to do like the self-work, because that's like not fair.
No.
Yeah.
Everyone has self-work. Everyone has things that they can improve on or things that they can address.
Nobody's perfect.
Exactly.
Except,
me?
Oh, yeah. I said our cat's name. Ramsey. So like if you're going into a relationship and you have a bunch of like unhealed trauma, a bunch of baggage, like you're genuinely putting both of you guys at risk. Petra, what made you feel like you were ready to get into like did you feel ready to get into a relationship?
Yes, because I'm the one that
Just because you asked me out doesn't mean you were ready.
I think so. A gut feeling. I don't know that there is necessarily a list of things that I could verbalize of why I felt like I was ready. I think you just kind of feel it in your gut.
It felt right.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, I have a bad history of relationships and a little bit of a colorful past, so I did need to like really look at that and say like, am I ready to get back into a relationship? Because I was scared. Didn't want to like set myself up to go back into something with somebody who was anything like my past partners. Definitely was more mindful of like red flags. Had they been there, I probably wouldn't be sitting here with you.
Wow. I feel like we went into this relationship in very different ways. I remember you even saying like, I don't think you know what you're getting yourself into.
That's my way of flirting.
And I was just very much like, yeah, we'll figure it out and we'll see what happens. In the back of my mind, I knew that I was getting myself into a relationship that had more layers than my past relationships, because you're sober, I'm not.
And we were neighbors.
I knew there was going to be an extra layer of complexity there that I wouldn't necessarily know how to navigate, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work.
But you like Aries your way into it anyway.
I just knew it was going to work. I didn't know how or what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
Never been in a serious relationship with anyone who was sober. Like,
yeah.
I'd never been to an Al-Anon meeting. I didn't even know what an Al-Anon meeting was before I met you.
Right.
Like, there were so many things there that were like very new and scary, and like, I don't like change personally, and things that are new are definitely intimidating for me. I don't know. There was just something that was telling me like, it's all going to work out.
You were right.
Yeah.
So far.
Hey.
But did you feel like you had unhealthy patterns from the past that you needed to kind of like clean up? Because I had dated people that still drank and like used drugs. It wasn't quite like this, but I knew that I had triggers around that. How am I going to react when this person wants to drink? How am I going to react if and when this person gets like blackout wasted or, you know, like comes around and smells like booze? I needed to make sure that like I was in a place where I wasn't going to react in a negative way to already cause a harmful dynamic in our relationship, because in the past I had done that.
I think something that is kind of an ongoing challenge for me that very much so was in past relationships was, I think, being a big people pleaser and kind of putting the other person first and trying to like accommodate them as much as I could, even if it meant that I wasn't getting that back. That was something I needed to put my foot down a little bit more, be more honest when things were bothering me.
Like advocating for yourself.
Yeah. It's not comfortable to like say no, but that's also how people get taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
If you do that too much, then people walk all over you.
For sure. For me, I feel like I'm kind of the opposite, and even a lot of my friends say this. Not only will I not bend over backwards to make somebody happy, but I won't even move an inch to the side if it doesn't align with my values. Like, I'm not gonna just say no and not do something for the sake of saying no, but if something doesn't feel right for me or something bothers me, it's going to be very likely that I'm going to just be like, no. I don't know, maybe we can do an episode on like people pleasing at some point.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big thing for me. I think we're on opposite ends of that, where like I will...
people displeasing.
Yeah, I'm such a people pleaser. I will yes someone to death just so that they feel good about themselves.
Right.
And you will know them to death so that they know they're a piece of shit.
And they know to never go back to me.
Yeah.
There's got to be a healthy balance in between there somewhere. But I think that's why we work to check ourselves and also check each other, because when I see you going into people-pleasing behaviors, Petra, come on. And I also try very hard to not put you in situations where you'll need to feel like you need to please me.
Yeah.
Well, in the setting of like making you do things or having you feel pressured into doing obligations that, you know, aren't necessarily whatever, okay? But I also think it's important to say that like you also don't have to like wait until you're completely healed and completely like ready, because nobody's ever 100% ready for anything. Like even what you were just saying, like you didn't quite know why it was going to work, but you went forward anyway. I don't think it's healthy either for people to feel like afraid to move forward with somebody because they haven't quite figured out everything. We're all works in progress. So I'm not saying like be alone until you're perfect by any means, because then you'd be alone for the rest of your life, unless you're one of our cats. You know, it's just a matter, I think, of like committing to healing the parts of yourself that have been harmful to you and have possibly been harmful to other people, and at least having like a little bit of a grip on that before you like drag somebody else into the picture. And sometimes you can't help it. Like, we had no intention of this going the way that it did. Like, granted, we were both in a dating app, but like, I think divine timing comes into play.
We say that all the time about the timing, because had we met 3 years prior, this never would have worked.
No.
Part of the baggage thing, because 3 years prior, I was very much more of a partier, a drinker.
Ramsey, you are really a ham today.
Drinking and going out was very much a part of my social life.
Yeah. And I would have still dated you. That would have been the issue. Like, I still would have dated you.
It would have.
And I probably would have convinced you were an alcoholic.
Yeah. We are both now at a place where we kind of have a handle on each of our baggage and downfalls and know that we need to work on them.
Right. And generally speaking, I know, again, no hard and fast rules, but like, if you still have an ex in the picture, unless you share a child, like, I would highly suggest that you don't get into another relationship if you're still with your ex. That's not cool. And I'm like very guilty of doing that with everyone prior to you. Big indicator that you're just like not ready to move forward. Number 2, have a life of your own and to be respectful towards your partner's independence as well. Boundaries.
Yeah, which is interesting for us because
oh God.
Our boundaries are almost unintentional. If it were up to me, you would literally be attached to me at the hip at all times.
Literally?
Every single day. The fact that you don't like going out to bars or going out to drink forces me to have time away from you, which is, I think, good for me because I tend to want to always be with you. And that's not healthy either.
No.
The unintentional boundaries have forced me to understand that I can have relationships and activities that don't include you.
Well, they were intentional on my part. It's not that I don't want to spend every waking moment with you, but because I've had enmeshed relationships in the past and like I see where they go and not cute. So I just nipped it in the bud right away. I mean, like, even during the pandemic, I make time for myself in the morning. We work separately on Mondays through Fridays. Like, doesn't necessarily need to be the case, but it works for us. And to work together for the sake of working together when we'd probably be more productive not doing so would be unhealthy.
Absolutely.
And I just get really annoyed because you keep everything on speaker and I can't focus.
Yeah.
This is a really great way of going into this point, is that like recovering addicts or alcoholics are not the only ones who have issues with being enmeshed with their partners. It's also very common in lesbian relationships. Fancier way of like setting boundaries, and you've already spoke on the fact that
not very good at them.
The thing is that just because you want it to be a different way, you don't force me to do what I don't feel comfortable doing. So that's respecting boundaries. Like, pass, and maybe you can relate, where like if I were to set a boundary, the other person would get mad at me, start a fight with me, or be like, this means you don't really care about me, or this means that you don't love me, or this means this, that, and the other thing. You're so selfish that you want to spend time by yourself. You're nodding, so now I need to know the tea.
No, I mean, I fully agree. I just know a lot of people like that, and it's very toxic.
For sure. And once you get into that habit, it's so hard to break.
It may be uncomfortable at first.
Or always,
but it will make your relationship stronger in the end. If you're not sure about how to go about making a life on your own, perhaps start with setting some daily time aside as me time.
Petra has been working on our backyard, which looks gorgeous. She's like revamping it, like she's building all of this stuff, like lots of manual labor, not my thing. Been like generally like detached from the process, and it's been very much a you thing that you seem to really enjoy doing, a hobby for you, that having fun without me being there. Kind of like the same with
your TikToks.
My TikToks, or like reading.
Little fun things that we really like doing separately that the other person necessarily doesn't enjoy.
Right.
And it's kind of just this like, look what I did. Your partner can still enjoy that and appreciate it and be like, wow, that's great. They don't necessarily have to be a part of it. They're not going to have fun, so why would you want to force someone to do something that only you are going to enjoy?
And then there are some things that we almost always do together just because we feel like it's like a bonding or intimacy thing. Like we like cooking dinner together, like playing with the cats. We like doing that as a couple because it's like family time. One of the things that I heard when I was like first getting sober in 12-step program was, anything you put before your sobriety, you're going to lose. So don't put anything before your sobriety. If I were to put you before my sobriety, that would be a problem, because if and when I were to start drinking again and it took off the way that it did in the beginning, our relationship would be doomed. Nothing is black and white. There are gray areas, of course, and everything. Like maybe I could drink normally again. I'm not willing to find out. Prefer being sober. The way that I used to drink were to take place again, I would lose you, and I would probably lose my job as well, as in making these videos. Like I would lose this apartment potentially. I would lose my family. I have the potential to lose everything that I care about if I go back into a place where I'm in self-destruction mode. So maybe you can relate with that. And if that is the case, then let your partner know sobriety comes first, and whatever that means for you, whether it's going to meetings or like praying, going to church, like I don't give a what you do. Like if you're trying to not drink and not use drugs, it needs to be a very clear boundary that like, these are the things that help me stay sober. So those are the things that I'm going to continue to do whether you like it or not. Except you don't need to say it like this, because this is me, again, being like too abrasive for my own good.
But I think this is something that, as the person on the other end, if you are not a sober person and you're in a relationship with someone that's in sobriety, this is something you have to understand and you have to accept, is that like Ali said, their sobriety comes first. And as much as I would love for you to be out at bars with me and maybe like sipping wine in front of you every night at dinner, like I cannot sit and pout about that and be like, it's not fair that you won't go to a bar with me while all my friends get shit-faced, because your sobriety comes before me wanting you to put yourself at risk.
That's healthy people pleasing.
Like it all comes full circle.
It's full circle. I wouldn't even call it people pleasing. I would just call it being respectful, honestly. And number 3,
practice compassion and understanding towards yourself and your partner.
Yeah, shit's gonna get hard.
Absolutely.
You might not relate on everything. You probably won't.
And it's one of those things where if you've never experienced it firsthand, it may be difficult to understand. Of course, challenging. I think it's a skill set that everyone kind of just needs to learn.
Before dating you, I was like very much under the impression that like, and I've said this before on videos, that everyone has a drinking problem, because like that was my reality. Like nobody drinks normally. Like nobody just has one. Like nobody does that. So it took me seeing that in practice through you and being like, oh, okay, so she can just have one and stop it there and then like move on and not want to like kill herself the next day. Like I had to have compassion for her lifestyle and also be okay with the fact that it was challenging my views a little bit. It led me to be a lot less in the place of like black and white thinking. When you're in a sober relationship, whether you're sober, the other person is sober, you're both sober, whatever, you are dealing with a dynamic that most people aren't dealing with.
Absolutely.
Your relationship right off the bat has a level of complexity that other relationships don't have. Like be kind with yourself in navigating that. Like be kind with your partner as they get through that. Like work together as a team. That's what worked for us.
I had no idea what I was doing.
Because there's no like class for this.
There isn't. I just think the fact that I didn't have any firsthand experience with it, there were definitely hiccups and there were definitely things that I did that were not right. There is going to be a learning curve there that you need to be patient and understanding of.
For sure.
And if the person is willing to learn from their mistakes and do better,
you got yourself a winner.
yeah.
And so with that, I hope you guys have found some value in this video. There are so many other like tips for surviving your first sober relationship that we can definitely like get more into in future videos if you guys want more content like this. If you like this video, throw us a like and hit the subscribe button. And thank you for watching, and thank you Petra for joining me on this YouTube journey.
Thank you so much for having me, Allie.
It's been real.
It's been fun.
And it's been real fun.
Bye-bye.